this is probably a, a good thing to do. I'll let you go first. If you're,
All righty.
hold on, let me
All right.
flip.
So,
Boom.
do you want to pull it up before I
Oh, I got
display
it. You're
it
good.
here?
Yeah, yeah. Go for it.
All right. So, this week I'm going with one of Stone Brewing's newer additions to the lineup. It's a Mocha IPA. I don't know. I guess we have reviewed a Stone Brewing beer in the
Yeah.
past. I think we did the milk stout, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, Jeff did that.
Yeah, this is one that really caught my attention. It combines two drinks that if I could solely live off them in life, I would. And that is
Oh God.
coffee, or like a chocolate coffee and beer. Unfortunately, you need to throw a little water in there to stay hydrated. But um, I digress. Another very cool thing I love about Stone, aside from how great all of their beers are, is their all their well, one of their main logos is a gargoyle, which is really cool. So let's get into the Mocha IPA. Checks in at 9%. I have had this before, so I have to say I'm very excited to get back into it and drink it tonight. One of the hops that gets used in this is Citra, which is a relatively new hop, at least in terms of it being used in beer. Big fan of Citra hops. So let me pour this out. All right. So right, the scent you get is you definitely pick up the cocoa that's been added in, or the chocolate, and you get a nice subtle scent of the hops, which is actually a very nice combination.
I've never had this before, so I'm kind of curious on what it
Yeah.
what.
I never noticed. Kind of took my time to smell it in the past. I always just dove right in, but I'll tell you, it has a very good nose on it.
So do you smell the coffee?
Well, so it has cocoa in it.
Okay,
Yeah.
but mocha, right? That's like, is that a coffee or is it? Yeah, it is, right?
Yeah. So mocha in general, it's it's espresso and chocolate. But in reading through their description of it all, it's a tantalizing combination of fresh, golden roasted coffee and pure dark chocolate. You do get the coffee and the chocolate in there, which definitely comes through in the scent as well as the taste. You definitely get the coffee right up front, and it's kind of mellowed out by, some of the floral and piney notes of the hops, which is a really nice combination. I'll tell you, when I first had this beer, it didn't strike me positively, but as I've had more and more bottles of it, it seems to get better with each tasting. I would the six pack's a little expensive in terms of other six packs out there, but it's coming
Right.
in at 9%, at least here in New Jersey and in the U.S. Probably looking around $14-15 for a six pack,
Wow.
but well worth it.
So it's considered a double IPA, Imperial IPA, because of the 9%. But I mean, I think I may have had something similar a while back, but I'll be honest with you, it's one of those things where I can't really remember what it was, so it probably didn't really sit well with me. The other thing I love about Stone is that they always have a novel on the back of their bottle.
Yeah, and that's for anybody watching, you're seeing me continually read the back of the bottle, but like Ted said, if you've ever had and tried to read about a Stone beer before, they do have quite a novel on the back, and it's usually quite comical as well as informational on the beer. But this one, they kind of go into um, because it has, the chocolate and the roasted coffee, in addition to the hops. Is this really an IPA, or is it a half IPA? Is it a half stout? Um, they go on to say it is definitely all IPA and bordering on Imperial IPA. Uh, no matter what it is, this is a beer I would have again. Highly recommended out to everybody that sees it. Pick it up, try it.
That's cool, man. I've never tried that before, so I might have to go grab that. I know it's one of those things where you see something like that and you're like, coffee IPA, you're a little bit skeptical sometimes about how it would come out, right? But
Yep. Yeah, it's a big commitment to buy a 6-pack of this. But and for you, Ted, I mean, next time you're over, I have more in the fridge, so don't feel you have to go out and purchase a 6-pack. It's waiting here, chilled for you.
Nice. Nice. Nothing wrong with
I-
that.
I'd actually be interested. I know we've talked about this in the past that Stone has just opened up a brew house in Europe. I think in Germany,
Yeah, in
not
Berlin.
Berlin. I'd be interested to see, what the subtle differences are between beers coming out of Berlin versus the beers coming out of California.
Well, I mean, don't they? I thought they also opened. No, they don't have one on the East Coast. I thought they may have, but I don't.
They
I don't
they
think they
may have. Now that
did.
you talk about it,
Hmm. Yeah, I don't. I don't think. I'm not sure. I mean, I know they have the one in Berlin, and I know they have one in San Diego, right? Which actually Steve said he was going to try to be here this week. But he couldn't come because he was going to be in New York tonight for work. My man's always all over the place. I mean, he works for Apple. He runs everywhere. Um, but he said that he's going to be in San Diego next weekend. I mean, next week. So what he's going to try to do is he's going to try to get the Stone at the same period of time where we're going live, and he's going to try to broadcast from Stone.
very cool.
Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome, to be honest with you. I like. I'm kind of keen to see how he works that bad boy out. But yeah, that would be cool. That brewery is beautiful too. I love they have amazing grounds to it. They have a ton of stuff that they do, which they ship, nationwide. Oh, no one's awake. I don't know if you guys can hear him through the wall. Hopefully not.
Sorry. As
Yeah.
as long as you keep talking, it's fine.
Yeah, as long as I keep talking. My son, I had to put on that. I used to have a graphics guy where you could see him. Doom. I don't have it set up, Monica. I'm sorry. I totally don't have that yet. Eventually. Beer. But I have a graphic of Owen where he's like breathing fire and lightning coming out of his eyes, and it's genius. Gremlin 42. Yeah, just Gremlin. Take the 42 off. That whole thing's done. But yeah, Steve's hopefully going to be doing some hopefully live from Stone next week. I think that's kind of cool. But you're right. I wonder what's the difference,
Right.
Or
You got me thinking about this type of stuff the other week when you reviewed the Dogfish Head. Purchasing new versus
oh yeah,
buying or sampling it against something that you've aged. So that's definitely an interesting
well,
assessment there.
I've said it for a few weeks, and but I think what I want to do is get us together, and maybe get now I have the laptop of awesomeness, which I think that's going to be its official title. We can start doing a ton of other stuff, man. I cannot just wait. This thing is beautiful. I've showed Deadnez knows. I've showed him the specs of what I was getting. So it's a nice laptop. So we have so many things that we can actually do now. And one of them is getting those beers together. Down in the basement, I have the same one I did the other week, the Palo Santo Maroon, which is been aging for 9 years. We'll get a fresh one. They just re-released 8, Vertical Epic 8, which I have the original of. And I also have the original of the 14th anniversary, which they just re-released as well. So at least those 3, we could just sit down and just have an epic tasting. But we'll have to figure that.
One thing about, you mentioned the Palo Santo, Dogfish Head for 2016 has actually moved, or I believe 2017 has moved that into their year-round brewing. So it's not just going to be a season.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I actually remember to have another one downstairs that we can actually do. I have one of the first releases of Dogfish Head 120, and it doesn't even have a label on it. It just has it didn't even had like a sticker on the top of it. It didn't even have. It was just the weirdest bottle. I was like, what is this? When I first bought it, it was like, it's 120. It's their first release. I was like, yoink, that's mine. So I have that downstairs. And back then, the ABV of that was 21%. And so they now any Dogfish Head 120s that you drink are the maximum they are is like 18. So I'd love to take that, because that one, it literally, I mean, they say to age that one. That one is like, because of all the hops, you can age that forever. Well, not forever. You eventually want to drink it. But I've had that probably as long as, or even longer than the Palo Santo. So it might be time to open that bad boy up. All right, wait. I still have to do my beer review because I'm kind of thirsty. So let me switch over real quick. All right. Let me pull up the beer info real fast. Get rid of the rules. Jump on the beer info here. I'm gonna turn this a little bit better there. All right. So tonight, guys, I'm doing the. I bought a case of this stuff. It originally comes from New Belgium. It is New Belgium's is out of Colorado. So this is the Fat Tire and Friends. It is the 25th anniversary of New Belgium Brewing Company. So what they did was they went around to several different breweries, and I have a list of what other beers in it. So in the case, they decided to take Fat Tire, which is one of their flagship beers, and go around and New Belgium, go around to different breweries and do a collaboration series with a bunch of different breweries. The one I'm drinking tonight is from Firestone Walker. It's a collaboration, and it's called Fat Hoppy. Fat Hoppy. There we go. It's finally starting to focus there.
So real quick, the case you bought, is it all from Firestone Walker, or
no,
is it a combination of everyone that brewed it?
So they use the base of Fat Tire, which is it's a beer that, I'll be honest with you, I'm not. Hey, Crowded Kitchen, how are you?
And I believe it's an amber ale.
It is an amber ale. And it is. And Dennis, thank you for the follow. I do appreciate that as well. And welcome all others who have joined us as well. So, they took the base of Fat Tire and they brewed, 4 different versions of it. So there are 6 beers in the case. I'm just reading it off their website here. Allagash Fat Funk, Avery Fat Wild Ale, Hopworks Fat Sour Apple Ale, the Firestone Walker Fat Hoppy Ale, which we're talking about tonight, and the Rheingeist Fat Pale Ale. But also included in that case was also the New Belgium Fat Tire. And if any of you guys follow my Twitter or Facebook or Instagram, uh, you would know that. I mean, I posted up there. I'm not a big fan of Fat Tire. I'm not. I'm not gonna
A direct draw beer dispenser!
Thank you, Monica.
Half barrel capacity with an anti-foaming mechanism!
Anti-foaming mechanism. This is what I needed when I cracked this bad boy open. I'm not a big fan of Fat Tire, but I loved every beer that was in this case, except for the Fat Tire. So, let's see here. It's got a little bit of a foam here, so I'm going to pour this out real fast. So this is I'm going to read you what this says on the side there. It's meh, Fat Tire. Yeah, I'm not Crowded Kitchen. That's my thing. I'm not a big fan of it. To be honest with you, when I first tasted it, it tasted like a smoky beer. But Fat Tire is an American amber ale, red ale type style. And normally I like red ales. But let me go fast. Here's the color what we got here. Nice crisp. The head isn't that frothy. But it's just stable. Well, it is. It's not like going everywhere. It's not like a giant, crazy.
I've never heard the head of a beer referred to as stable.
Stable.
I like it. I may use it moving forward.
Why not? It could be worse. And I agree with you. Crowded Kitchen Ranger is okay. Their original recipe was okay, but their new recipe has gotten better.
I'll tell you, the citronella is top. Very good.
Yeah, definitely not bad.
That's not bad at all.
Thank you. Sometimes those sound effects always come at the most interesting times. So again, this is one of the the 5 collaboration beers that they have in this series. It's about 6%. You know what? I'm not even sure what type of style it is. I mean, it says on the site. It says amber ale, red ale, but hugely hopified Fat Tire, thanks to California friends, by brewing a West Coast IPA. So okay, this is like a West Coast IPA version of the Fat Tire, basically. Fat Tire with an amplified American hop aroma and flavor. So that's one of the reasons why they have it's called Fat Hops. But they use Mosaic, Citra, and I don't even know what that Mirandia Bavaria as the hops in this. Yeah, I've never heard that last one, but this is definitely a very. It doesn't smell hoppy. Like I'm not really getting like you crack open a regular IPA. You're not getting like the aroma of the flowers, right? Citra for the win. Yeah, Citra for the win. But it is bitter. It's not super bitter. There's a little bit of sweetness to it. Not too crazy. Not too crazy when it comes to bitter. I mean, even though this is considered an IPA version of the Fat Tire. I mean, there isn't, with all that hops they just listed. I don't really get too much of like the IPA feel to this. But it's tasty. I mean, there's more malts in there, and I think maybe the hops after a while the hops kind of just died down, because that kind of happens with age. You get a really super hoppy beer and you age it. The flavor complexity is going to change constantly, and this is one of those instances. I think they probably super hopped it, and maybe when I bought it, I don't know how long it's been there, but the flavor complexity, we're not getting like a huge hop scent or flavor in this. But it's good. I mean, it's worthwhile if you're looking for that pack. It's this. Like I said, if it came out in June, I'm not sure if you'll be able to find it anymore. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to review it. I had some left in the fridge. I didn't actually buy it in June. I think we bought it in like August. But it's definitely a cool beer, because I think this is probably one of the only times you're going to get it, unless they re-release one of these in another time frame. But this is one of those rarities, and I think probably out of the case, if one of these things are, I guess more popular, they'll probably reproduce it. But since it's a collaboration, a lot of times you have collaboration beers, and they'll do it once, and you'll never see it again. So it was worth picking up.
The popular ones tend to stick around though, like the Saison du Boeuf.
Yeah, although I haven't seen that in a while. That one is.
So what they've started doing now is 3 breweries: Stone, Victory, and Dogfish.
Okay.
It's the third one. They're now. I think the first year they did it, all 3 brewed it, and they all put it out at the same time, and you could find any of the 3 brewed at either of the 3 breweries. Now I believe they're kind of rotating it around, so one brewery does it each year, and it's a seasonal, so it's only out certain times of the year. And if I remember correctly, 2017 Dogfish Head is doing it.
Oh, nice.
So you'll get to see that. Two things I wanted to mention about the Fat Tire. One, Ted, you were mentioning, the hops weren't that strong, or you didn't get much of them. And that may have been done intentionally, just because, if they're doing a collaboration on the Fat Tire, you still want to have that original Fat Tire flavor there. Just kind of some notes at the end. Second thing I wanted to say is a fun fact. The first beer I ever brewed as a homebrew was a Fat Tire clone.
Oh, really?
And it turned out horrible.
Was that after we did the beer for our wedding, my wedding, or?
No. This was back in 2005.
Okay.
This is a while ago. So what is that? 2 years before your wedding? Yeah, 2 years before your wedding.
Yeah. This 2007 will be 10. So this is Ann and I've been married 9 years. So yeah, around there, I guess. Okay. I didn't realize you brewed before I thought the first time we all brewed was when we went to that place, but that was the first time I brewed.
Yeah, the first time I brewed was actually with my wife's uncle. He had homebrewed before, and he said it was really fun, and he wanted to pass on the knowledge, and he also wanted a reason to drink. So he invited me over, and we sat down, brewed a beer. It was Fat Tire, and I didn't like it then. I still don't like it now. But, I would be very interested in the collaboration ones you're having, though. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I think my favorite one out of them all was probably the one from Avery. It was a wild ale. That was the one I had. I had a Fat Funk the other day. I put that on Twitter and all those other things. Which, by the way, if you're not following, by all means, please go click on and be happy with the Twitter stuff. And the Instagram. But the wild ale was, let's see, a Go Wild Ale, thanks to Boulder's finest unabashed tropic take on Fat Tire. So, sturdy malt background, fruity hop aroma. Now that one, and a tropical pineapple layer, they say. Tropical pineapple. Their Instagram is annoying. On a side note, who? Are you talking about Fat? Who is it? New Belgium's? Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow a lot of people on Instagram. Although I like posting on there because I can actually click on it, post it everywhere else just by going to Instagram. It's one-stop shop for me. It's great. So, but that one was fantastic.